What's going on, YouTubers? Reidimus Maximus here, bringing you some news on the Nintendo Switch. Now, yesterday, if you were awake at 11 o'clock our time, you were able to watch the presentation, but just in case you didn't, here is some info for you. Now, Nintendo decided to start their presentation with launching the price and the launch date of March 3rd, 2017 at $299.99. Now, that seems like a pretty steep price for what they're offering, but let's take a look at some of the specs that they did release. So the Nintendo Switch is going to sport a 6.2-inch 720p multi-touch screen. Now, when it's actually docked, the Switch output is going to be 1080p through the dock's HDMI connection. Now, if you really think about it, it's essentially a mid-range tablet that's going to be running an NVIDIA Tegra processor. Now, some of you might be asking, what is that? Well, not a whole lot of us actually know. But we do know the fact that it has a lower resolution while being under the dock probably makes us think that they did that in order to make the battery last a little bit longer. Some additional hardware specifications, we're going to be looking at a built-in Wi-Fi and a 32GB onboard memory, which they did let us know you can actually expand with a micro SD card. Now you might be saying to yourself, that doesn't seem like it's going to be a lot compared to the 500GB or 1TB hard drives of the PlayStation 4 Pro or the Xbox One Slim. Now taking a look at the actual Switch, they're going to be running a lot of their games off of physical cartridges, so storage doesn't seem like it's going to be that big of an issue. As mentioned before, the expandable storage is supported, but Nintendo didn't actually talk much about how the Switch will handle downloadable content. You know, and it really makes you think, for that matter, are they going to actually be able to download apps such as Netflix or Amazon Prime, things like that? Usually off of the Android system, the players are able to offload their information onto the micro SDs, therefore they can keep it without getting rid of their systems. And as I mentioned before, the most important spec of all is the actual Switch's battery life. Now, Nintendo said gamers are going to be getting around 2.5 to 6.5 hours depending on the actual title. Now, as far as good examples, the launch day title, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, their big sell point, will be running around 3 hours of gameplay undocked on a single charge. It's okay, but it's not that great. Thankfully, it looks like the Switch is going to come out with a USB-C connection that will allow you to charge while on the road. And of course, they released that the Switch is going to support a 3.5mm headphone jack. That's going to be really good news for at least those people that have the iPhone 7s. Now at this point, you're probably saying to yourself,
whoop-de-doo! What does it all mean, Basil?
What it means is you're going to get sucked into buying even more accessories, kind of like you did with the 3DS with a charger. And speaking of short comeuppance, let's talk about the Joy-Con controller. Now this controller will be launched with the system itself as the main core controller. Now if you actually take a look, this is the actual size of the controller itself. This is if you want to play in two-player mode. Both parts of the controller actually disconnect, so the two players can actually play on the tablet itself or on a docked screen. Now, if you're like me and you have giant fucking hands, you do have the ability to pick up the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, which, go figure, does not come with the system. Although two versions of the system is launching, it doesn't really matter because one of them is the Pro Black color all around and the other one is two mismatching colors of neon blue and neon red. So those that have OCD, get ready to be wrecked. Now, so far, the only thing they actually talked about was their breadwinner, which is Legend of Zelda, The Breath of the Wild. It's the only other game that is coming out on launch day with the Nintendo Switch system. Not included, sold separately. Go figure, Nintendo. Now, one of the games I actually was slightly excited for was Mario Odyssey, but guess what? You're not getting that one actually at launch either. It probably was going to give people one of the best feelings since Mario 3D of the N64, but you won't get to look forward to that one till fall. Now, there actually was some other good questions that were brought up to me, especially today after watching the Treehouse special. Now, there wasn't any actual mention of Gorilla Glass for the screen itself. Is this going to be too expensive for kids to be carrying around? The other big question to follow up is, what if you have multiple kids and they want to go play with separate friends? Are you going to have to buy multiple of these damn systems? And with that, a lot of companies are actually starting to take their reserves for the system before it comes out. That can only make you wonder, what are the accessories going to start costing? Like extra batteries or extra cables? Or what if you end up actually losing one of the actual Nintendo Joy-Con controllers? As a gamer myself, I'm going to have to give the Nintendo Switch a thumbs down. Mainly because of price. The resolution is way behind its time, and looking at the Joy-Con controller again, it's basically just a updated motion control. Where's the VR support? Where is the, cheaper accessories going to come from? What are they going to deal with as far as like when the sales run out? Is there going to be enough hype for it? Is there not going to be enough hype for it? Is Nintendo always going to be 2 steps behind the other systems nowadays, especially with VR and 4K resolution dominating home use? Please don't freak out, but this is just my personal opinion on the system. If you guys actually do like it, make sure to drop a comment below to let me know what you think, what kind of other information you have in the system that I haven't actually presented, and maybe we can move forward with it, and maybe I'll punch out some more videos. Thankfully, the other two, Fang, are actually going to pick it up. So once they're actually able to get one of the systems, I'll hopefully have a hands-on content review for you guys in the future. And if you did like the content I was able to bring you today, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more detail on the Nintendo Switch coming up and other gaming news. And as always, keep it maximum.